how often in our lives does this happen? That we do something and sometimes we actually do it pretty well, and yet we refuse to call ourselves a barista, a guitarist, a pianist, a handyman, whatever it might be. It happens all the time. Oh, so good. It was kind of epic. Hey, good morning, how are ya? This is the morning walk. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? We're here in Esperance, gonna take a stroll somewhere along this beachfront and check out this little town. God, it's good just to be up early, making the most of this amazing thing that we call life. Let's go for a walk and have a chat. Thanks for joining me, by the way. If you're a new friend or an old friend, how are you today? Drop me a note down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I love to get back to people who watch the morning walk. Let's go for a walk around Esperance. Esperance was founded in 1893. Been here for a long time. The local Indigenous people were here for thousands, if not tens of thousands of years before that. But interestingly, actually, the French were the first into this area. Back in 1792, they came ashore somewhere near here, and Esperance, the name, is taken from the French word espoir, or espérer, which is to hope. And it's pretty rugged coastline and ocean out there, Great Southern Ocean off the Australian Bight, which the French probably weren't enjoying too much when they got in here, and they were like, oh my God, thank goodness we're here. We are lucky. Let's call this place Hope. So good. And now Esperance is home to about 12,000, 13,000 people, so it's not a huge place. But, you know, I think if you had a place like this, that looked like this, close to a city like Sydney, you know, it'd have hundreds of thousands of people living there. But there ain't a lot near Esperance. This is very much like wheat country, cattle country. In fact, all night we could hear the freight trains coming in to the port here to drop off their cargo. So a little bit of a broken night. And that's because Esperance is one of the only deep water ports in this part of the world. You have Albany about 500 k's away, and then Esperance. And so all of the freight comes through here, which makes it a bit of a important regional centre. The next stop in that direction is also Antarctica, which is probably why there aren't as many people here either, because I can tell you what, it's the start of summer right now as we film, and I'm very well rugged up. It's bloody cold with that wind blowing. But this is the stunning thing about Australia, is you have so many amazing places absolutely everywhere. This country is so massive and diverse, and even as an Akubra toting Australian, it's blown me away in so many different ways, just like Esperance. Yesterday on the drive from Albany through to Esperance here, we went through a little town called Munglunup. It's basically like a roadside rest stop. There's a few houses there, and there's a roadhouse for you to fill up petrol. And I went inside and I asked the lady serving at the counter for normally. So that's another thing you need to know about Western Australia, or at least about Perth, is that a latte is called a topped up long black, I believe. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But I went into this like little roadhouse and I said to the lady behind the counter, like middle-aged lady, I'd like a topped up long black, please. And she looked at me and she went, love, I'm not a barista. You need to speak English with me. Like flat white. Just a flat white would be fine. But it got me thinking when I went outside after that, holding my coffee. And I was thinking, her coffee was all right. In fact, it was pretty good. And she had a proper coffee machine, and she made my coffee like she was a barista. In fact, she was my barista. And how often in our lives does this happen? That we do something, and sometimes we actually do it pretty well, and yet we refuse to call ourselves a barista, a guitarist, a pianist, a handyman, whatever it might be. It happens all the time. And like, I'm kind of the same. It's like this funny thing we do as humans, which is to minimize the things that we maybe aren't perfect at, but that we do relatively well. And I just don't know why we actually do that. And I've been playing piano for 30 years maybe. And, you know, there were times when I played better because I practiced a lot. And right now I haven't been practicing much at all, but I'm still a pianist. And yet when, you know, my wife or other people who hear me play say, oh, you play really well, I'm like, nah, like just nah, not really my thing. I won't own it. I don't know, this little lady at Mungling Up saying that she wasn't a barista when actually she turned out a good coffee just kind of kicked something off in me. It made me say to myself, like, it's time to own it, right? It's time to really own the stuff that I do. Even if I'm not an expert at it, well, I'm just at a stage of learning. Because that learning never really stops, does it? And so I'm now a guitarist, a teacher, a pianist, a cook. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, I'm a manager. God, I could just keep going. Just need to think more about it. Oh, I'm a runner. How could I forget that? I'm a trail runner. I'm a bike rider. I'm a surfer. God, I even really, I mean, surfing's not, I'm not that great at it. But you know what? Fuck it, I am. I'm a dad. We all need to own the things that we do, even if we're not necessarily like absolutely the best at it. Because I think that then gives us permission to do more of it. And it gives us permission to like fail at it and say, oh well, I am a surfer. And so what if I stuffed up that wave? I know because I am a surfer, there will be more. It creates this abundance mindset. Whereas the problem, you know, not just for people locked up in little country towns working at the local roadhouse, but you know, we all end up in this like minimization, this negative mindset of saying that we aren't good at things. And it's bullshit. It's like just a bad habit that we need to stop. So speaking of coffee, who could possibly walk past a coffee cart called the Coffee Cat? And look at this mug. Oh, I just love this country and I love the ingenuity of people. It's just beautiful. And for those of you who get up early or who do sport early or who walk with me early, thank you. You know how nice a coffee is first thing in the morning, except if you don't like coffee, in which case you don't like coffee in the morning. You don't know what you're missing. Well, there's the moral of the story today. The things that you do, own them. Be proud. Don't minimize. Because whether you're a little bit good at it, half good at it, or fucking awesome at it, it doesn't matter. You still should just own it. That's all part of who you are. Awesome chatting with you today. And have yourself an awesome day. I'll see you next time on the morning walk. Goodbye, Coffee Cat. See you next time.